folks, you're not gonna want to miss this fabulous product, okay? Let me tell you this, call the number on the screen whenever you can, you're not gonna regret it. That's a bunch of emojis! With Transformers introducing the crew of the 1986 animated Generation 1 film into the studio series since the film had its silver screen release anniversary, it was plainly obvious that the leader of the Junkions, Wreck-Gar, would return in toy form. The Junkions were a race of alien machines who were constructed from junk and lived in a world made from junk. They could break apart, pull themselves together, and have an interesting dialect speaking from TV quotes and infomercials to the point where, honestly, half the time, I just can't understand it. It sounds like Beaker trying to be British and actually say words. Getting it out of the package, I love this backdrop. There's a lot of traditionally muddy colors, but it's so vibrant. It brings their planet to life. It feels absolutely retro. It's everything I want out of an 80s cartoon setting. I'm not sure if I want to reuse it as a post-apocalyptic realm or for a space-age rock band world, yet I know the answer is both. I'm the trash man. I'll pick up trash and I'll make worlds out of it. Brown bricks! The Junkion leader transforms into a scrappy motorcycle in very muddy colors, a rustic orange and bright red. Makes sense considering Junkions have been said to have been made from literal junk components. I will say, I wasn't sure how to go about this. I mean, the limbs aren't really trying to hide, but with the characteristics and origins, I think that's the point. Junkions aren't trying to hide, they're in their own element. Considering they can attach and detach limbs with ease, it comes off as a blend between the animation and the original toy. The handles are just shy of using 5mm ports, meaning figures can ride it depending if they can fit. Studio Series 86, War for Cybertron, certainly Legacy for example, and other Junkion molds, which, no matter what Wreck-Gar you have, they can blur into a generic Junkion army with the altered shapes and still stay relevant. I can safely say that while like some of the previous incarnations, this is now my defining Wreck-Gar. The conversion took some getting used to, mostly to get the idea of where everything goes, but it's so much more fun than reveal the shields. What a nightmare. You can tell the waist opens up to seat another of this mold, which means we're all waiting for the junkyard retool. You can store the axe, but it looks like the world's worst turbine booster that pops off way too easily. Watch out for the spikes. Out of the box, one of mine is bent. It's an easy fix, but I'm surprised it's not rubber. The wheel should have used rubber for the notches, though. I was told they were non-stick, but the plastic nubs are terrible on smooth surfaces. It's as useful as a 50s Chevy on cinder blocks. They're pretty hefty wheels that you have to attach. Yes, it's parts forming, but given the character, I mean, come on. It might be fun to slip out in battle. Plus, if you got a second, you can make an ATV. The spikes can prop the vehicle up, or there's a few stands that actually keep it straight up. I love the packs on the side properly placed, and the fake head windscreen over the real one. Not for the fact we don't have to deal with Jimmy Neutron's head, but the gauges on the back are used with the purpose of the alt mode. I like the silver details and gold flame paint job inside, the red highlight, and check out the little blasters on the front, both using ball joints. Everything seems alright, just make sure the back joints are positioned properly so the wheel doesn't scrape the taint. With Junkions driving Junkions, it's funny that this bike is so large. It's a Voyager and a good-sized Voyager figure. Finally, a bike that's bigger than a Countach, and I'm okay with it. Flip out the legs and come on, how can you say no? And if you call now, I'll throw in additional garbage. Please, buy it. My wife won't let me see the kids! I wasn't sure how to explain why this works because most bike transformers certainly can't get away with what he's doing. They're always tricky to get right, but this is a fun, good-sized bike that doesn't need to be clean to begin with. Robot mode. You might dare to be stupid, yet this is anything but. With Studio Series 86, there's an expected level of aesthetic engineering that some seem to hit or miss, but Wreck-Gar is probably at his best with this figure. And all with a single pack at a single price, what a bargain! I don't think he's, how animated put it, GARBAGE! Look at the solid colors that shouldn't work, but they're so muddy, with a vibrant red giving it a little flair. They usually blend in clean components, I'd imagine, because if they were overly complicated from the start, animators would go insane. There's such a stoicism for someone who speaks in TV, and yes, that's the canon. I don't know why the legs come off as short, maybe it's those storage packs on the hips, but this all seems proper. Even the backpack has a level of elegance, with the only distraction being the gaps in the arms and the windscreen behind the fake painted one on the head. But most importantly, what would a quality Wreck-Gar product be complete without the extensive nipple turrets? Such a classic, iconic, and absolutely absurd thing. And they're on ball joints. So, this doing anything for you? The only thing bringing this down is the unsightly gap in the beard. Aside from that, this is one of the better head molds in the line. I mean, the fake helmet's in the proper size, and that facial hair is absolutely charming. Plus, there's a good amount of paint applications. Did someone say articulation? Ball jointed head, shoulders out and in, forward to back rotation below, elbow bend, wrist rotation, waist rotation, hips out and in, forward to back rotation below, knee bend, foot forward to back and tilt. That seems pretty good. I mean, it's the typical posability. But wait, there's more! With the transformation, the figure happens to have a bonus ab crunch, making for some incredible poses that hardly gets utilized in other mainline figures. Springer doesn't stand a chance. Let's take a look at the accessories. He comes with a battle axe painted in bright red with the blood of his enemy! And it spins. Hooray! I find the pole seems short, but there's a side peg to store it in the back. And the hand has an additional joint to bring it forward. Even more posing options. There's also 2 fidget spinner wheels that can be added to any part with a spike. It slides right in and plugs into the base. They can be used as shields, thrown as frisbees, or stored in the legs, but keep in mind they do restrict posing. If you want to change it up, they do attach with 5mm ports, so you can attach them to the handlebars. And to top it off, portholes in the feet, side of the legs, and hands. Plus an extended warranty. It's a wonderful sales pitch. Operators are standing by. There are so little things wrong or nitpicky about this toy that it's nearly impossible to make a solid argument on why you shouldn't get it, and I'm not just trying to sound like an infomercial. The posability, the weapons, the colors, the nipples, the compatibility with other figures in other lines. He's just an amazing toy from a character that doesn't get the spotlight too often. With that, this has got to be the absolute best he's ever been. The only thing I don't recommend is missing out on this toy. Seriously, you do not want to miss it. It's a lot of fun, a lot of joy. I'm very impressed with it. Buy it as soon as possible. If the nipples aren't a catch, I don't know what is.
AllSpark TV. Now that's just prime.